Let me ask you something that might make you stop and think for a moment. Why is it that in the richest, most advanced country in the world, so many of our elders are dying younger than people in countries with fewer resources, like China? I know, that's not an easy question. And honestly, it's not something we like to talk about. Is it? But we need to. Because if you've ever looked around and thought, why are my friends getting sick so early? Why am I always at another funeral? Why does my body feel like it's giving up faster than it should? Then, friend, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not imagining it. Something's not right. And I want you to know this conversation today is not about blame. It's not about guilt. It's not even about politics. It's about you, your life, your health, your future, and maybe, just maybe, about adding more good years to your life. Let's sit down together like old friends. Because I've got something I think you really need to hear. I'm going to tell you what nobody else is talking about. The real reason so many American seniors are dying younger than Chinese seniors, and what you can do about it starting today. But first, I want to take you back to a moment I'll never forget. A few years ago, I visited a tiny rural village in southern China. No running water, no fancy hospitals, no Whole Foods or gym memberships. Just dirt roads, rice fields, and families living the way their grandparents did. And I met a man there named Li Wei. He was 92 years old. I remember him laughing as he hoisted a basket of vegetables over his shoulder. His back straight, his eyes clear, his hands rough from years of farming, but steady. He told me he hadn't seen a doctor in years. Not because he avoided them, but because he just didn't need one. Now here's what got me. He wasn't an exception. He was the norm. That whole village was filled with people in their 80s, 90s, even 100s, walking, working, playing cards, cooking meals, telling stories, taking care of their grandchildren. Not hooked up to oxygen tanks. Not shuffling with walkers. Not wasting away in nursing homes. So I came home with a burning question in my heart. Why is this not the case here? Why are American seniors, good, hardworking people like you, dying earlier, suffering more, spending their final years not living, but just barely hanging on? Let's talk about it. Because the answer isn't just one thing. It's not just about luck or genes or even doctors. It's about how we live, what we eat, how we move, how we connect, what we believe. And if you're willing to walk with me through this, I promise, I'll show you that it's not too late. No matter your age, no matter your health right now, there is so much you can do to take back control. So let's begin. Let's look at the numbers first. Not to scare you, just to be honest. According to data from the World Health Organization and the CDC, the average life expectancy in the US is around 76 years. For men, it's even lower, about 73. And many people don't make it that long. Now compare that to China, where life expectancy is around 78 to 80 years and rising. But here's the thing, it's not just about the number of years. It's about how those years are lived. Because while many American seniors spend their last decade dealing with serious illness, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, dementia, many Chinese elders stay active, sharp, and independent until their very last days. So what's happening here? Why are we struggling so much more? Let's start with something simple but powerful. Food. You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. Well, there's truth to that. In China, especially in rural areas, most meals are cooked at home. Simple ingredients, fresh vegetables, rice, a little meat, not too much, and almost no processed food. But here, walk into any grocery store and what do you see? Shelves packed with boxes and bags. Things that come from factories, not farms. Food that's been stripped of nutrients and pumped full of sugar, salt, and chemicals you can't even pronounce. We were sold convenience. But it came at a cost. And you've felt it, haven't you? That sluggishness after a frozen dinner. The sugar crash after a pastry. The aches in your joints that just won't go away. This isn't your fault. You were told these foods were fine, that they were quick and easy. But nobody told you they were also quietly hurting your body, day by day. And I'll tell you something I've learned. Your body is always trying to heal. Even now. Even if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. When you give it what it needs, real food, whole food, it responds. It thanks you. I've seen people in their 70s reverse diabetes. People in their 80s lower their blood pressure without pills. People in their 90s walk without pain again. And it started with what they put on their plate. But food is just one piece. Let's go deeper. Movement. Now, I know the word exercise makes a lot of people groan. Maybe your knees hurt. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you think it's too late. But I want you to think about something. In those Chinese villages I visited, nobody was going to the gym. Nobody was lifting weights or running marathons. But they were moving every day. Walking, gardening, squatting, carrying, stretching. Their movement was part of their life. Not something separate. Not a chore. Just natural. Compare that to how we live here. We sit. A lot. In cars. On couches. In front of screens. Hours and hours go by where we hardly move at all. And our bodies weren't made for that. Movement keeps your joints lubricated. Your heart strong. Your brain sharp. And here's the hopeful part. You don't need to do much. Even a 10-minute walk every day can lower your risk of disease, improve your mood, help you sleep better, and even protect your memory. You don't have to run. You just have to move. I'll tell you a story. A woman named Ellen. She's 78. She told me she used to sit most of the day, watch TV, played cards, did puzzles. Her back always ached, and she felt tired all the time. Then she started walking. Just 5 minutes around the block. Then 10. Then 15. Within a few weeks, she said she had more energy. Her mood lifted. She even lost a few pounds. But most importantly, she felt alive again. You could hear it in her voice. So let me ask you, could you try just 10 minutes a day? For yourself. You'd be amazed what your body can do even now, especially now. Now let's talk about something most doctors don't ask you about, but it may be the most important part of all. Connection point. One of the biggest differences I saw between Chinese seniors and American seniors wasn't in their food or even their movement. It was in their relationships. In many Chinese families, elders live with their children. Grandparents are respected, included, needed. They help cook, care for the grandchildren, offer advice, share stories. They have a role. They belong. But here in the US, too many of our elders feel forgotten, lonely, left behind. And loneliness, my friend, is more dangerous than smoking. I'm not exaggerating. A study from Harvard found that chronic loneliness increases your risk of death by 26%. It raises your risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, even dementia. Because we're not meant to go through life or aging alone. So if you've been feeling isolated, if the phone doesn't ring like it used to, if you feel invisible sometimes, I want you to hear me. You matter. You are needed. You are not a burden. Reach out. Call someone. Join a group. Volunteer. Tell your story. Ask for help. There are people who want to hear from you. They just don't know how much you need it until you speak. And if you have friends who are isolated, be the one to knock on the door. Because connection heals. It really does. So let's take a breath. We've covered a lot already. Food, movement, connection. And you might be thinking, that's all great, but it feels like too much.
I'm tired. I'm scared.
I don't know where to start. And that's okay. Because you don't have to change everything at once. Start with one thing. One better meal. One walk. One phone call. Small steps, taken consistently, lead to big changes. And remember, it's not too late. No matter how old you are, no matter how long you've felt stuck, your body is still listening. Your heart is still open. Your story is not over. You're still here. And that means there's still time to live fully, to feel better, to make new memories, to laugh, to love. I believe in you. Truly. In the next part of our conversation, I'm going to show you the deeper cultural reasons behind this difference, the things many Americans never see, but that you need to know if you want to live longer, stronger, and more peacefully. But for now, just sit with this truth. You are not broken. You are not alone. And there's so much more life left for you to live. So, let's keep walking together, friend. You and I just opened a door. We looked at food, movement, connection, simple things, yes, but powerful. Life-changing, even. And now we're going to go a little deeper. Beyond habits. Beyond routines. We're going to look at culture. Because behind every long life is a way of thinking. A way of living that goes far beyond calories or step counts. It's something deeper, something that shapes how people see themselves, their place in the world, and how they grow older. And here's what I want you to really hear. The difference in longevity between American and Chinese seniors isn't just about what's on the plate or how many miles they walk. It's also about the story they're living. Let me explain. In China, aging is seen as an honor. In the US, it's often treated like a diagnosis. I want you to think about that. Here, once you hit your 60s or 70s, you're bombarded with messages that say, you're done, retire, slow down, don't work, don't drive, don't dream, just stay quiet. Fade into the background. TV commercials tell you to worry about your bones, your brain, your bladder. You walk into a pharmacy and see aisle after aisle of pills, creams, walkers, hearing aids, adult diapers. Like aging is a sickness we're supposed to treat. It's no wonder people start to feel useless, unseen, afraid. But in Chinese culture, growing old is something to be respected, even celebrated. The word for old, lao lao, is often used affectionately, like a badge of wisdom. Elders are seen as wise teachers, honored family members, keepers of history. Their stories are valued. Their advice is sought out. Their presence matters. And that does something to a person's heart. When you feel like you still matter, when your community treats you like you're needed, you live differently. You carry yourself differently. You take better care of yourself. You want to stay strong. But when you feel forgotten, left behind, pushed out, you stop trying. You shrink. You give up. And friend, maybe you've felt that. Maybe you've looked in the mirror and thought, I don't recognize myself anymore. Or worse, does anyone even care if I'm still here? I'm here to tell you, I care. You are not invisible, and it's time to remember who you are. Let me share something that stayed with me in a small town near Chengdu. I met a woman named Mei Hua. She was 84, and every morning she would sweep the sidewalk in front of her family's home. Not because she had to, but because it was hers, her space, her duty. Every evening, her grandchildren would sit with her on the porch while she told stories from her youth. How she survived war, famine, how she fell in love. They listened with wide eyes, hanging on every word. She wasn't just a grandmother. She was their living history. I remember asking her, what keeps you so healthy? She smiled and said, I wake up with purpose. I'm still needed. That word, purpose, hit me hard. Because here in the US, too many seniors are told, you've done enough. Just rest now. And while rest is important, what the heart really needs is a reason to get up in the morning. Purpose gives life meaning. And meaning keeps you alive. So let me ask you, what gives you purpose? Who needs you? What brings you joy? What wakes you up? If you don't have an answer yet, that's okay. But let's find one. Together. Because no matter your age, your life still has meaning. Now let's talk about something else that's rarely discussed, but is absolutely vital to longevity: stress. Here in America, stress is everywhere. It's baked into our culture. Work more, achieve more, push harder, keep up, be busy. Even in retirement, we carry this restless anxiety about money, about health, about the future. And it weighs on us. Stress is a silent killer. It raises your blood pressure, inflames your body, weakens your immune system, shortens your lifespan. And the worst part, you might not even notice it. You just feel off, tense, tired, irritable, like your mind can't settle. But in many parts of China, especially in the countryside, life is slower, simpler. People take breaks. They breathe. They rest without guilt. There's an ancient Chinese concept called wu wei, wu wei. It means non-doing or effortless action. It's not laziness, it's peace. It's trusting life's rhythm. It's knowing that you don't have to control everything. That sometimes letting go is the healthiest thing you can do. So if you've been carrying a heavy load, regrets, worries, expectations, maybe it's time to put it down, even just for a little while. Try this. Sit by a window. Watch the trees. Breathe in slowly. Exhale. Do nothing. You don't have to earn rest. You already deserve it. And as stress melts away, your body starts to heal. Your mind gets clearer. Your heart opens up. That's not fluff. That's science. Studies have shown that people who meditate or engage in slow, calming activities like Tai Chi or gardening live longer. They sleep better. They think better. They even look younger. And here's the truth. Peace is not something you find. It's something you allow. We've talked about culture, purpose, respect, stress. Now let's talk about belief. Because this is where I think many American seniors get stuck. They stop believing that change is possible. They believe it's too late. Too late to get healthy. Too late to feel strong. Too late to matter. And friend, if that's how you've been feeling, I understand. When the world stops expecting things from you, it's easy to stop expecting anything from yourself. But here's what I want you to know, and I want you to feel this deep in your bones. It is never too late to come back to life. I've met people who turned their health around in their 80s. I've met people who found love in their 70s. I've met people who started painting, writing, dancing, living after decades of just surviving. You are not too old. You are not too tired. You are not done. The most powerful organ in your body isn't your heart or your lungs. It's your mind. And when your mind says, I can, the body listens. So if you've been living under the shadow of I can't, let this be the moment that shifts. Say it with me. I'm still here. And that means there's more for me. More love. More joy. More peace. More life. Let's pause right here. Because in the next chapter, we're going to get practical. I'm going to share specific things you can start doing today to live longer, live stronger, and feel better. We'll take the wisdom from China, mix it with what works here in the US, and create a path that works for you. But before we do that, I want you to do one thing. Put your hand on your heart. Right now. Feel that? That's your life. It's not over. It's not fading. It's still going. And where there's life, there's hope. The final stretch of our conversation. You've come this far, and I want to thank you. Not just for listening, but for feeling, for thinking, for being willing to ask the question, why do American seniors die earlier than Chinese people? And more importantly, what can I do about it? Because this isn't just about statistics or studies anymore. This is about you, your life, your days, your choices, your joy. Now I promised we'd get practical, and I meant it. So let's walk through the real, simple, powerful steps you can take. Right now, right where you are, to add not just years to your life, but life to your years. None of this is about being perfect. It's not about becoming a monk or living like you're in a Chinese village. It's about taking what works and making it yours. Let's go step by step. Step 1. Rebuild your plate. The longevity way. You don't need to throw out everything in your kitchen, but you do need to ask one honest question. Is the food I'm eating helping me live, or slowly wearing me down? Remember how we talked about the traditional Chinese diet, full of vegetables, greens, beans, mushrooms, rice, and just a little meat? You can. Start with one simple shift. Add more plants to your plate. Not because they're trendy, but because your body loves them. They reduce inflammation, feed your gut, and keep your cells young. Try this. Half your plate. Vegetables. Any kind. Raw, cooked, steamed, stir-fried. A quarter brown rice, sweet potato, quinoa, barley, complex carbs that give you slow, steady energy. A quarter. Lean protein, maybe some fish, tofu, beans, or a small portion of meat. And skip the soda. Skip the sugar when you can. Water and tea, especially green tea, go a long way. If you need inspiration, look up some simple Chinese soup recipes. They're warm, healing, full of good stuff, and easy to digest. But most importantly, eat mindfully. Sit down, chew slowly, taste your food, thank your food, let it nourish you. Because food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. Every bite is a choice toward life. Step 2. Move like you love yourself. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need to run marathons. But you do need to move every day. Even if it's just stretching your arms and legs by the bed. Even if it's walking to the mailbox and back. Even if it's dancing alone in the kitchen to your favorite song from 1972. Movement is life. And here's the beautiful truth. In China, most seniors don't exercise the way Americans think of it. They move in ways that feel natural and gentle. Tai Chi in the park, sweeping, gardening, slow dancing, stretching. It's not about sweating. It's about flow, balance, circulation. Try this. 10 minutes of movement after breakfast, a short walk after lunch, gentle stretches before bed. If you're able, try a Tai Chi or Qigong video on YouTube. Just try it. You'll feel silly at first, but then you'll feel amazing. Because it's not just about your muscles. It's about your energy. Keep it moving and you stay vibrant. Step 3. Heal your stress. Don't just cope with it. This one is huge. We've talked about how chronic stress eats away at your health. So let's talk about how to let it go. Here's what you can start doing today. Breathe deeply, intentionally. Try this. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Pause for 4. Do that for 2 minutes. That's it. You'll feel calmer, clearer, more present. Take breaks from the news. Not forever, but enough to protect your peace. Remember, your mind is a garden. Don't let toxic weeds grow in it all day. Write down your thoughts. When you feel worried, angry, or overwhelmed, put it on paper. It helps you see it clearly, and it stops the noise from taking over. Be still. Just 5 minutes. Sit quietly. No TV. No phone. Just you and your breath. It's not doing nothing. It's doing everything for your nervous system, and if prayer or meditation brings you peace, lean into that. Let your spirit rest. Step 4. Reconnect. Because you were never meant to age alone, one of the greatest secrets of longevity isn't food or exercise. It's belonging. People in China, especially elders, live in multi-generational homes. They're surrounded by family, friends, neighbors. They're not isolated. But here in America, loneliness is an epidemic. And it's deadly. Literally. Studies show it can increase your risk of dying by up to 45%. So if you've been feeling alone, this is your lifeline. Reach out. Call a friend. Visit a neighbor. Join a senior center. Volunteer at the library. Start a walking group. Go to church. Find a class, art, cooking, gardening. You deserve connection. You deserve to be seen. You were not meant to fade away quietly. And if no one's reached out to you in a while, maybe today you make the first move. Send the first text. Start the first conversation. Because sometimes the people around us are just waiting for someone to go first. Let that someone be you. Step 5. Rekindle your purpose. I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. You still matter. You're still needed. And your life is not done. So let's ask. What lights you up? What have you always loved? What can you share with the world? You don't need to start a business or write a book. But maybe you can teach your grandkids how to cook. Maybe you can start painting again. Maybe you can write down your story, your real story, so your family knows where they come from. Maybe you can mentor a young person, or comfort a friend, or simply show up with kindness in a world that's starving for it. Purpose doesn't have to be big.it, just has to be real. And you know what? Maybe your greatest gift right now is simply choosing to live well, so others can see what's possible at any age. Let your life be a light. One last thing. Friend, if you've made it this far, I want you to know how proud I am of you. Not just for watching or listening, but for caring, for being open, for saying, yes, I want more life. Here's what I know for sure. You have everything it takes to live longer, live stronger, and live more joyfully. Starting now. Not in some far-off future. Not when you fix everything. But now. Start small. Start with one new habit. One better meal. One gentle walk. One heartfelt phone call. Let today be the day you turn toward life and mean it. Because you are not your age. You are not your aches. You are not done. You are becoming. You are rising. You are here. And I'm so glad you are. So let's do this together. Let's live better. Let's live longer. Let's live like we matter. Because we do. Always have. Always will. Take care, my friend. I'll see you in the next chapter of your beautiful life.